In this video, I'm talking about the wonderful energetic power of the hawthorn blossom. I'm Dr. Leonie Morris. I'm an energy psychologist and an energy medicine practitioner. And this is the third video about supporting our energy to guide us through the suffering that grief can bring. So when you've lost a loved one, whether that's a person, a partner, someone in your family, a friend, or whether it's your beloved furry friend, your dog or your pet, whatever you've lost and you're grieving, the hawthorn is a beautiful natural medicinal plant that is effectively a heart tonic. It nourishes and protects your heart and is particularly good for a grieving heart. When I see hawthorn, I can see energy. I've seen it since I was a little girl. It's like angelic clouds. It's a beautiful sort of pearlescent white with almost pink and green and sort of golden sparkles running through it. It's healing, it's nourishing, it has the energy of love and compassion as well as courage. It's a bit of the kind of will and personal power that comes through. So it's a really strong, nourishing energy. And herbalists the world over will say that hawthorn blossom, the blossom itself, these beautiful things, I don't know whether you can see that if I hold it a bit closer, beautiful blushing creamy vanilla white and pink, and the pink stamened blossom is actually even more powerful from a healing perspective. So I don't know whether you can see those beautiful blushing pink colors there. So I have been out. It's June now in the UK, and it's actually a late blossoming time for the hawthorn. Normally it's any time from the beginning of May through to June, and it's just starting to dry out now, and you can do so many wonderful things with hawthorn. But today I want to share a recipe because I love this recipe for Hawthorn Elixir. It sounds super exciting, and I love the magical nature of hawthorn. People say that quite often if you're walking through the fields, you'll see a lone hawthorn tree, and that's because farmers are much more superstitious than you might think. Apparently fairies live in a hawthorn tree, and if you cut one down, well, you've got the fairy wrath to contend with. So many farmers do not choose to cut down their hawthorns. So you see them everywhere in the hedgerows. They are brilliant hedging, keeping the livestock from going through because of those quite scary thorns. But you'll often see them in the center of a field because people won't cut them down. And they are beautiful, strong wood. They can live up to 700 years old. I wish I could talk to a hawthorn tree because I'm sure they would tell you some lovely stories. That aside, herbalists will say, and it's proven scientifically, that medically they are a wonderful heart tonic. They tone the walls of your heart, so they can actually improve the way your heart pumps blood throughout your system. They can cleanse and tone the lining of your vascular system. So it's great if you suffer from getting your arteries furred up. So if you've got cholesterol. So it's a great heart tonic. It's great for things like vascular disease. So if you've got heart congestive failure, light to moderate, having a hawthorn tea or a tincture or a bit of my wonderful elixir will do you great favors. Obviously, I'm not a GP, I'm not a medical practitioner. So if you are on any heart medication, please do make sure that you check whether a hawthorn tea or my elixir is going to interfere. And I do know if you take beta blockers, you should not be taking hawthorn. So all of that aside, I do want to talk about this recipe because it is wonderful if you are grieving. It gives your energetic body a boost. It brings in love, compassion, resilience, and courage. So I've shared energy tapping, energy psychology tapping to shift the way that you think and focus on your grief. I've shared some energy medicine techniques to allow you to bring your energy body back into balance so that it eases your suffering. If you haven't seen those, I'll put links. Go back and look at those first 2 videos. So I'm ending where my heart is, with the wonderful medicine cabinet that is Mother Nature. I love it. I can literally hear the harmonic energy coming from this hawthorn in front of me. I've just picked it, and we're going to put it into, this is an old jam jar, no expense spent. You just need a glass jar that has a metal lid. That's all you need. Plus your alcohol. I'm using gin, and if you can read backwards, that says Gordon's. No, I'm not being paid by Gordon's Gin. So you need a jar. I like to sweeten it a little bit. I have a little bit of a sweet tooth when it comes to elixirs, and that's what makes it an elixir versus a tincture. So a tincture is just the leaves and the flowers with alcohol. And why do we put flowers and leaves in alcohol? Well, it preserves them, but not only does it preserve, it allows the amazing medicinal benefits to literally leach out. So you put your flowers and leaves into your jar, you cover it with the alcohol, your chosen alcohol. So 100% proof, sorry, is 50% alcohol, 50% water. And this allows both the water soluble medicinal compounds to dissolve, and also the alcohol based compounds to become part of the liquid, which is exactly what you want. So using your 100% proof, I'm using 80% proof, it's fine, but I'm making elixir today, and I'm using a natural sugar. You can use honey, agave, whatever your choice is. I'm using a lovely Canadian maple syrup. And I will use my measuring jug because I'm doing a video. I know this jar takes 12 fluid ounces, nearly 3/4 of a pint. I'm sorry I can't give you those conversions, but I'm sure you can find on Google. So I'm going to use about 2 dessert spoonfuls, and I roughly know what that looks like, so I'm just going to pour it straight into my measuring jug. 2 dessert spoonfuls, and I'm going to top it up with about 12 fluid ounces, whoops, helps if I take the lid off, 12 fluid ounces of gin. And it's better to mix it together first, otherwise you've got the problem of mixing it once you've got the flowers in there, and you don't want to bruise the flowers by prodding them around. So mix your honey, agave or maple syrup, 2 dessert spoonfuls, with 12 fluid ounces of either vodka or gin, or in fact any high proof alcohol. You can use rum or brandy or cognac, whatever is your preferred choice. And you can see already that it makes a lovely colour. So I use a wooden spoon so as not to taint with the metallic compounds. Just stirring away to mix up my maple syrup and my gin. Fantastic. You can see it's all mixed through because we've got a nice even colour. And I love the colour of maple syrup. That's another reason for using it. So this time of year, the blossom is just starting to go over. So you can see I have this beautiful confetti of blossom, of petals. And I'm going to make sure all of that goes in. And both the flowers, the petals, the blossom itself, and the leaves have wonderful medicinal properties. So equal proportions of both. And a little note about foraging. It goes to say that we don't want to leave a single tree depleted. So pick from a whole load of trees and bushes, and pick like no one can see you've been there. I always imagine I'm a little fairy going from one tree to the next, magically leaving no trace at all. And that's what you want to do from a foraging perspective. So I am filling up my jar, and you want to kind of fill it so that it's not full, because of course you want to make sure the alcohol completely covers all of your blossoms and leaves, because if it doesn't, then it will oxidize and taint. It'll taste bitter and go a nasty color. Of course it will go a darker brown color. You won't be left with a clean, clear a transparent liquid like vodka or gin, but I don't mind because I've got that lovely brown colour, that beautiful warming sense of colour and energy coming from the maple. I love it. It tastes really good, because when you come to use this 6 weeks from now, just tamping it down a little bit more, and I really want to get that blossom in there that I've picked. So I'm going to make a real mess here, and I'm going to scoop it up in my paper towel that I've kept it on and try and I always make a mess when I do it on camera, try and get that all to go in there. Whee! There it goes. Fantastic. So now I've got a full jar of blossom and the leaves, and I've tried to get as much blossom in as possible. Tamp it down with your fingers so that it's packed in. There we go. And now pour on your booze, and you'll see that the volume will start to disappear. And I haven't quite got enough. Obviously I'm not measuring my own jars properly, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to make sure it's covered. There we go, right up to the top. If you don't want any oxygen in there, you want to make sure it's all covered, so give it another push down. And there you have it. That, in 6 weeks from now, once I've put the lid on, this in 6 weeks from now will make a beautiful elixir, Hawthorn Blossom Elixir. Make sure you label it. I like to label it with what the blossom or leaf is, the date, the alcohol I've used, and I think that's about it. But if you don't remember where you've harvested and you want the same ones next year, put a little note of where you've harvested it. And in 6 weeks' time, give it a little shimmy every day for the first week, and then once or twice a week for the remaining weeks. You can then decant it. You can take your leaves and blossom out, just sieve them out, or use a nut bag or a muslin, and put it into a little bottle. Take a dessert spoonful every day. All right. Obviously I'm sharing my love of cocktails and alcohol, but I really like this, a spoonful or a little shot glass full. A very small one, because you don't want to overdo this. If you have more than a couple of dessert spoonfuls in a day, you could get a sore tummy. So keep it on the low side, but it's lovely with us as a spritzer. So you can put a little bit of this with a little bit of vermouth or a little bit of wine, and top it up with soda water or sparkling water. And that maple and the blossom really brings it to life. It just makes your drinks healthier. It's supporting your heart, giving you a beautiful flavour, helping support you through your grief. And of course it looks beautiful when you've made your own. It's a really nice way to forage and to use Mother Nature's bounty. Of course, if you haven't got time to forage and you don't want to wait for weeks and weeks, there are organic, wild crafted suppliers who will already make lovely hawthorn blossom tincture or elixir. So I will share links for that in my post, but have fun making it. It's a really nice thing to do, and it's lovely to open a whole cupboard. This is my medicine cupboard behind me, of all your lovely tinctures and oils and vinegars that you've made. It really does make foraging so much fun, and drinking it and using it in your cooking, it's just more fun than buying it. So enjoy that, and I really hope you can feel the benefit as it supports you through your hard time. So once again, my condolences if you have lost one. Use the tapping, use the energy techniques. Take a spoonful of wonderful Hawthorn Blossom Elixir every day. It will lift you and get you back to a space of love, loving yourself, and remembering with fondness and with lightness in your heart. Take care, and thank you so much for listening. Love and subscribe to this channel so that this can be shared with more people who will benefit. Thank you.